Hey guys, Josh here and welcome back to another Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town video, and today we're going to be talking about crops. So a lot of people were requesting this, so I decided to put together this little guide. So we're gonna go through each season and I will explain which crop is the best and why for each season, and hopefully this will help you make as much money as possible in this game. Alright, so just before we start, I would just like to specify that all of the prices I will mention in this video are based on a normal difficulty setting. So if you're playing in easy, just keep in mind that even though the proportions will be the same, the price you buy your seeds at will be cheaper and the price you sell your crops at will be higher. So the first season in this game, of course, is spring, and before we go into it, I just want to explain this table a little bit. So we'll take radish as the example. So if you want to buy seeds, you'll have to go to the general store, which is closed on Tuesday. Every other day it's open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And for the radish here, it costs 100 G. So the price is always the same. The price is never going to change. And you can only buy 0-star seeds at the store. And a little bit later in this video, I'll talk about the seed maker. But for now, let's just pretend we're buying this at the store. So the selling price for every radish is 30 G. Days to grow is how many days it takes to grow. So 5 days for the radish. And it gives you 4 crops per harvest, which means that if you buy one radish seed, you plant it, 5 days later, you're going to pick it up and you're going to get 4 radish. You're going to sell them for 30 each, which means you'll get 120 in total. But your seeds cost you 100 G, so your total profit is going to be 20 G. And since it took 5 days, I'm dividing by 5, and the profit per day is 4 G. Alright, so that's how my little table works. There are also some crops that are harvestable multiple times. So if you look at the cucumber, for example, it will take 7 days to grow on the first time. But then 4 days later, it will grow again, so you can harvest it a second time. And then 4 days later, you can harvest it the third time. So when you see the little arrows, that's what it means. It means you can harvest it multiple times. So at the very beginning of the game, when you start and you go to the store, you'll have radish, potato, turnip, and cucumber available. That's going to be the only seeds available at the store. And right away, when you look at this table, it is quite obvious that the cucumber is a good choice, right? The only thing is, in your first year, you really don't have a lot of money and you're trying to make money as quickly as you can. But with the cucumber, it's going to take at least 7 days before you can get any money back. So you start the game with 3000 G, and my recommendation at first would be to just buy turnips. You can maybe go ahead and spend all of your money on turnips so you can start making money as soon as possible and then reinvest it into more seeds. You won't be able to plant any seeds on your first day because you're going to be missing some tools. However, I recommend on the second day that you go to the general store and then you can start planting your seeds on the second day. And keep in mind that the third day of spring is a Tuesday, so if you don't buy your seeds in the first 2 days, you're gonna miss your chance on the third, and then you're gonna have to wait on the fourth. So you're gonna lose 2 valuable days, and these 2 days can make such a big difference at the beginning of the game. But yeah, so my recommendation at first is to just spend all of your money on turnips, at least for the first half of the month. Save the money you made with the turnips, and in the middle of the month, you can go and buy cucumber. So as you can see, cucumbers will take 15 days to grow in total. And one thing to keep in mind with these 15 days is that they start the day after you planted the seed, right? So for example, if you plant your cucumbers on the 14th of spring, 14 plus 15, 29. So you're actually going to end up on the first day of summer. So your last harvest is going to be bad. You won't be able to get it because cucumber doesn't grow in summer, right? So you're going to lose some money there. So just keep in mind when you plant your crops that there's only 28 days and the count starts from the day after you plant the seed. So to summarize, in the first year, plant turnips and maybe potatoes as well until the 13th. And on the 13th, plant as many cucumbers as you can. And now you're probably looking at the other crops on the table and you're probably wondering, Josh, why are you not talking about these? So that's what I'm going to do now. So as you can see, between onion and strawberry, there's a little star. This means that you need to find wild onions and wild strawberries on your farm. So the onion, you can find it on the first area, the strawberry in the second area. After you shipped your first wild onion, after you ship your first wild strawberry, you will then the next day unlock them at the store so you can buy them in the future. And then beside garlic, there's 2 stars, right? So all the crops with 2 stars, to unlock them, you need to reach agriculture level 9. So for me, I got this at the end of the first autumn. I think you can get it earlier as well, just depending on how much farming you do. But when you reach level 9, the next day you will unlock plenty of new seeds in the store. So from the second year, garlic is quite a good choice. But actually there's an even better option. So in the first winter you will unlock these 3 seeds, so you'll get daikon, broccoli and cabbage. These 3 crops grow both in winter and in spring. However, they are not available at the store in spring. So broccoli, as you can see, is quite a good option with 65G of profit per day. So definitely one of the best crops in the game. But since you cannot buy it in spring, if you want to grow it in spring, you have to make sure you buy as much as you can during the winter. Oh, also I want to talk about the other stars. Sorry, I put so many different stars in this, but I put some stars beside certain crops. So this means that these crops have a low probability of harvesting a special, more valuable version. So for example, the potato, you'll get a star-shaped potato. You can get a giant turnip or a golden strawberry. So these ones are quite rare, so I wouldn't take them into account when calculating the price or how much profit you'll make. But just keep in mind that you have a probability of getting a bigger special crop that is usually worth about double or maybe triple the price. Alright, let's jump into summer. So as you can see, there's a lot more crops here. There's still a few crops like zucchini, onion, melon, pineapple. You have to find the wild ones before you can unlock them. And there's a watermelon. Watermelon is such a good money maker. However, you do need to reach agriculture level 9. So it's gonna take a little while, but in the second year, or if you manage to make it on the first year to level 9, but I don't know if that's possible. But anyway, in the second year, I definitely recommend watermelon as much as you can. If you've played Mineral Town, you might be fooled into thinking that pineapple is the most valuable crop. But as you can see here, it's not even that good. You've got the eggplant, which is higher. You've got a red pepper, which is higher, the tomato. So there's so many crops beating the pineapple. And also don't be fooled by the cost of the seed. As you can see, sometimes seeds that are more expensive are not necessarily better for making profit, right? So I think that's why this detailed table is quite useful. But anyway, so watermelon in the second year, but in the first year, I recommend the green pepper. As you can see, it'll make 51.11 G per day with these. And there's quite a bit of time between the harvest. So it takes 8 days at first and then 5 and then 5. So you don't have to harvest them very often. They're quite low maintenance, which is something that I like in this game because you're just so busy. And which is why I like the watermelons as well, because you only have to pick them up every 9 days. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for summer. Just go crazy with the green pepper. Of course, I always recommend to still plant a little bit of everything just for cooking and gifts. It's always good to have some variety. But yeah, try to stick mainly with green pepper. And that's pretty much it for summer. Alright, so we're now going into autumn. And as you can see, we've got quite a few repeat from summer. So you've got the green pepper, of course. So if you're into green pepper, you can keep your green pepper in autumn, which is nice. I think in this game, there are quite a few crops that grow on multiple seasons. So even if you plant your green pepper in the end of summer, you don't have to worry about them dying in the next season, which is good. But yeah, if you're planting any crops at the end of the season, just make sure it's gonna be able to survive in the next one. But if you're looking to make a little bit more money, what I would recommend is to go with the sweet potato instead of the green pepper. Both are very, very good. You'll make a bit more profit with the sweet potato, but one thing to keep in mind is that the sweet potato grows faster. As you can see, it's 644 instead of 855. So you'll have to harvest quite a few more times in your month. So if your time is precious and you don't want crops with too much maintenance, I would maybe stick with the green pepper. But if you want to make a little bit more profit, maybe go with the sweet potato. You'll also unlock the bok choy when you reach agricultural level 9. But as you can see, it's not even that good. So I don't know why you unlock it so late in game and it's not that good. And one other good thing with the sweet potato is that there's a giant sweet potato that you can get. So you get an even higher chance of making more profit. By the way, you might have noticed that since the beginning, radish is always there. So radish can actually grow in spring, summer, and autumn. But honestly, with 4G per profit per day, I think it's just not worth it. I'm not even sure I grew it even once. There's really no point to it unless you only have 100G left in your bag and that's the only thing you can afford. But honestly, I would say don't go for radish. Maybe grow it once just to have it, but that's pretty much it. You don't need to touch radish in this game. So last but not least, we have winter. In lots of Story of Seasons game, you can't really have crops in winter, but in this one you can. And surprisingly, that's where you'll find the most valuable crop, which is leek. As you can see, it's quite expensive, but it will give you a 75G per profit per day, and it grows very fast, so it's a good way to make quick money. You just have to keep in mind that if you want to grow it all month long, then you'll have to harvest it every 4 days, which is a lot. But with the money you make, I think it's worth it. You'll make even more than with the watermelons, more than the sweet potato. It is the best crop in this game, so definitely worth it. The only requirement is that you find the wild leek on your farm, so you might not get it at the beginning of the month. I think it appears in the third area, so just ship out one wild leek, and the next day you'll be able to buy it in the store, and then just go crazy on that, because the other winter crops are really not that valuable. In second place, we have the broccoli, actually, which is quite good. And the broccoli, just remember that you can buy lots of broccoli seeds and you can plant them in the next spring. So broccoli is good as well, and leek is good as well. And if you want something that's very low maintenance, then we have the bok choy, but the profit is quite lower. Alright, now I would like to talk about some things that you can grow in spring, summer, and fall. So we have fodder, tea leaves, beans, wheat, and rice. As you can see, they're not going to make you a lot of profit, so don't plant these in hopes of making a lot of money. However, these are all very useful. Well, of course, the fodder to feed your animals, and everything else is for cooking. And you're going to be doing a lot of cooking in this game to give to other villagers, and also to do Lovet's quest, which gives you amazing rewards. So, of course, you can buy flour and rice at the grocery store, but I think it's useful to be able to grow it by yourself. You're going to save some money that way. So what I would recommend is to have a small field with a little bit of all of these. You don't have to make it too big, but just so you can make your own thing. But yeah, don't sell these. They're not going to make you that much profit. Also, one thing I would like to mention, I think I did not say at the beginning, is that all of these prices, not only they're in normal difficulty, but the selling price is all based on a 0-star crop. But of course, you're not going to be stuck at 0-star for long. So there are 3 ways to increase the quality of your crops. So the easiest way is simply by leveling up your agriculture skill. So every few levels, you will actually get a perk that will improve the quality of your crops. Next is by upgrading your soil level. So there's 3 levels, and after gathering over 100 follower sprites, you'll be able to go to the shrine and pray to upgrade your soil. So you can upgrade up to level 3. And the third way is to, of course, use better seeds, but the store only sells 0-star seeds. So the way to get better seeds is to make them by yourself using the seed maker. So with a regular seed maker, you'll place 1 crop in there and it's gonna give you 2 seeds. But the big seed maker that you'll unlock once you reach level 10 in agriculture will be able to transform 2 crops into 6 seeds. So that's when it really starts being profitable. Honestly, I don't really recommend using the small seed maker because the time spent making the seeds is just not worth the small margin. But with the big seed maker, since it's a lot more effective, I think that's when you should start really considering making your own seeds. So basically, to get a 10-star crops, you need to reach level 8 in agriculture, have your soil to level 3, and use seeds that are at least level 5, and this will guarantee you a 10-star crops. Alright guys, so I think that's pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about today with crops. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll try to answer as much as I can. I really hope this guide was helpful to you. I'm planning to make another one shortly about flowers and another one about fruit trees. But if there's anything else you'd like me to cover about Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town, please let me know in the comments. And if this helped you in any way, please feel free to click like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out more Story of Seasons content like this. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.